Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions JP, let's look at Asaruto's Guild Battle tier list, about 2 weeks after the release of UR Mont. Previously, I made a video about the JP Guild Battle meta post-Nier. This is not really a guide, this is more like just the trends of the JP players at this point. And I've said this before, but the PvP metas and then the pace of PvP power creep is determined by the players, and it might not play out the same in global. Like, I always say that, mono-element teams, not a big deal in JP. But global players place so much emphasis on it that it might become a thing anyway. It might be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I do want to say one thing about the overemphasis on elements up front. But it's like all of the different metas, all the elements and then attack types and evade and stuff. It's all very complex how everything interacts with each other. And it's like you have a big pool of like free-flowing water, going in and out and here and there. But by thinking about things just in terms of elements, it's like you're installing pipes and funnels and things so that the water can only move in certain ways. And so you're actually oversimplifying the game, you're dumbing down the game. War of the Visions is complicated, and if it's just too much, for you to handle, you need to, set up some limitations on your thinking so that it's easier to handle. Then I understand that. But you might be, cutting out some options that you have. You might be making the game less fun for yourself if you're limiting your thinking too much. So I'll try to talk about like some counters that are not really element related. Also, I guess I'll talk about counters real quick. But when Yuna first came out, there was some debate, maybe some misunderstanding of like what a counter actually is. People were saying that EX Jiza was not a counter to Yuna because Yuna could counter her back. But real quick, I should explain how like there are different types of counters and then also like different grades of counters. By different types, I mean like attacking counters. There's like tanking counters, there's also support counters. And so thinking in terms of Yuna, attacking counters would be people that could one-punch her. So like any strong dark unit, EX Jiza, EX Stern, Super Stern, people like that. Tanking counters would be people that could just kind of nullify a character's attacks. So in Yuna's case again, it could be like Rain, Fravia. And then there are support counters, which maybe don't counter her directly, but like, disable some kind of effect of hers. Like Gilgamesh, he has the re-raise, cancel. Augrius, maybe she could cast silence on Yuna. So like, yeah, different types of counters. And then with light and dark in particular, they have a special relationship together where they often can counter each other. And so like just because they can counter each other doesn't mean that they're not counters to each other, if that makes sense. And then by grades of counters, I'm talking about like, regular counters versus like hard counters or perfect counters or whatever you want to call it. Full counters for you Seven Deadly Sins fans. But like perfect counters, they exist more in the fire to water range. Like Luasa, maybe she's a perfect counter to Augrius. She gets the element advantage and then also has like enough range that she can hit Augrius before Augrius can get close. But even if Augrius somehow gets close enough, Luasa has good slash resistance to protect herself from Augrius, so she's an example of a perfect counter. There aren't really any perfect counters in the light-dark relationship, just because they do the extra damage to each other. Maybe the only examples would be like Whisper or Grace, because you can get their resistances so high that elements don't matter anymore. But yeah, some thoughts on counters. Now let's talk about the actual tier list. But here with SSS, Asaruto put Yuna, 2B, and King Mont there at the top. And again, this tier list is based on like what he sees and what he feels is very strong. And only in the context of guild battles. But Yuna still top of the game. People were thinking that the Omega Vision Card and Esper were going to end her, but as we see here, that did not come true. Next we have 2B. She moved up from the previous list. She's definitely one of those units where if you do not have something to address her specifically, you're going to have a lot of trouble with her. And plenty of folks in Global, they were talking about how she was dead on arrival because of all of the 100% hit attacks out there. But if those characters aren't EX jobs themselves, maybe it won't do a lot of damage. She also has like a physical reflex type of thing, and then also barriers and stuff, so she survives much better than you might expect. And then also with her Pugilist subjob, she can handle King Mont very well. That is maybe his biggest weakness, so that also makes her very current. And then speaking of King Mont, he's there at the top, very, very tough. I showed a few videos using him lately in Arena, and he just ties people up like forever. He just takes hits and hits and hits. But on top of that, he has nice breaks and then status effects, so he can be pretty annoying to go against. We saw in some high-level PvP videos that I put up from like live streams and stuff, where people will kind of build their team specifically to go against Mont and then his like Berserk from his limit break, so he is definitely a threat that you always have to consider. Okay, next we got the SS tier. Gilgamesh here, he moved up from A. This was because he got the EX jobs. He is countered by Mont, but against everybody else he still does very well, and then with Quick and stuff he's very useful. Next we have Garble. Asaruto was debating whether to put him in triple S or double S. He ended up putting him in double S, but yeah, very good against physical units, good damage, some survivability. He's still very good. Christmas Mashidi still there near the top. Still hasn't gotten EX jobs in Global. It'd be interesting to see the timing for her. The Phoenix Esper and Vision card is going to come out pretty soon in Global, and then we'll see if Christmas Mashidi comes out before or after or during. Okay, next we have Tita still in double S. I think everybody that went and built him is very happy about that. He can do a lot of stuff. Maybe some people are anticipating that he will counter King Mont, but they might be surprised that that's not entirely going to be the case. And then if King Mont has the Phoenix Esper, where he can get some water resistance, then Tita's almost going to be a non-factor. King Mont is very strong. Okay, next we got Federica. This is post-EX jobs. She has Barrier Breaker, which is very important. That can be good against Tita, against Garble, against 2B. So yeah, she's excellent. I always put her in the no-brainer on my own tier list. Okay, and then there is Rob with his Vision card. I haven't heard anybody talk about him. If you've been using him in Global with his Vision card and he's awesome, then let me know. There's 9S, very solid character. And then Winter Victoria, who moved up from the previous one. Again, she's one of those characters that got more appreciation over time. Okay, and then we have S tier. This is all pretty much the same. Augrius did go down a tier. Probably more people are using King Mont. And then Aron, he also did go down a tier. Again, probably because of King Mont. And then Christmas Veneta, she also went down. Although, I think she could also be a decent counter to King Mont, because she has the strike damage, which he is weak against. I definitely plan on trying that in Global. Okay, and then last we have Luelle. She comes out after King Mont. She is an Earth Element mage. But because of 2B running around, it's a little bit difficult to use her, but she is good. She does do some good damage. Next we have A tier. Rain, he also went down a tier. I think he's great against Yuna, but against like 2B, no. He did get his EX jobs just the other day in JP. I did awaken him, but I haven't used him yet. Yeah, he'll get like instant cast magic. He will be a better damage source, so that'll be interesting to try him. And I think that's all I want to say. Irudita, she did go down some tiers as well. If you need a healer, people are going to use Yuna. But yeah, that is how that is looking. Okay, I think that will do it for this video. Oh, I did ask for how people like Raw, but also 2B. If you're having good experiences with her, let me know. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.